Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Gracie Maynard, and I will be sharing with y'all a little bit about myself and a whole lot about my life and the struggles I have been through. So please follow along and hit the like and subscribe button for more. So to get things kind of started, I will be talking about divorce, and I know that it's very hard for some of you to talk about. And I know that I just kind of wanted to make this video to reach out to you guys and see if you can relate to some of the things I have felt or some of the things I've been through, and just offer my best advice to y'all. If you feel the need to talk, please come to me and I will try to help the best way I can. So I did a little bit of research and I found this crazy fact, and I wanted to share it with y'all. So here we go. In America, there are 277 people that file for divorce each hour. That makes up 6,646 people that file for divorce each day. That is insane. That is crazy. So I just want y'all to kind of sit back and realize, out of those 6,646 people, how many of those people have children that are experiencing their parents going through divorce? I know that is very devastating for everybody to go through a divorce, but especially for the child or children in that situation. I know that I was 6 years old at the time my parents got a divorce, and my brother and we were in the bathroom, and I remember hearing screaming and arguing, and all of a sudden I felt like sad and hurt because my parents were arguing. So I started to go outside into the living room, and then immediately I heard the door slam. And I remember running outside and seeing my dad, and I screamed, "Daddy, Daddy, please don't go. Please don't go. Don't leave me." And I remember him looking back at me and saying, "Gracie, it'll be okay. Just go inside. I love you." And he gave me this big warm hug, and I ran inside, and I immediately felt devastated. I felt so hurt and so heartbroken. I was thinking to myself, when am I ever going to see my dad again? What is family? Is this what family is supposed to be like? I was so young, but yet understood so much, but I was still so confused at the time. And I remember it just being so confusing. I would go to my dad's house every other weekend, and I would be with my mom most of the time. And my brother and I, when we went over there one weekend, I remember feeling so excited to see my dad and so happy, to finally get to see him. We would go to the park. He would teach me how to do this. All these things. I learned so much from him. It was incredible. And years down the road, my brother and I went to his house, and we were playing in the living room, and my dad and his girlfriend at the time, were in the bedroom, and they had the door shut. And, my brother and I were very young still, but we could hear them arguing, and I immediately knew what that sound was. So I went above the door and got one of those keys and unlocked the door and was going to snoop on them. And I opened up the door just a little bit and peeked through, and I saw them and heard them arguing. And my brother was like, What is it, Gracie? What is it? What's going on?" And I said, "Just go sit back down. Everything's fine. We'll be fine. Everything's cool." So I remember turning back around and seeing my dad hold this girl up by her neck and shove her against the wall. And her feet were off the ground. She was held up by her neck onto the wall. And I run in the bedroom and I scream, "Dad, stop, please stop." And here comes my brother, and we're just watching the whole thing. I look over at my brother, and I remember seeing his eyes, his innocent, childlike eyes. You know, just watching this whole thing. As were I was a child and I was innocent. But I just remember feeling like my brother does not need to see this. I need to protect him. So I grabbed him and I said, "Let's go, Grayson." And I took him back in the living room and shut the door, and I called my mom, and I remember hearing my dad's girlfriend saying, "I'm calling 911, you know. And she locked herself into the bathroom. We just sat there waiting, and here comes the cops, and here comes my mom, and you know, we were safe, whatnot. But I remember just after that one situation feeling so confused and so lost. You know, I had this image of my dad in my head. You know, my dad's supposed to be someone that protects me, someone that loves me and cares for me and everybody around me. But yet, what is this? You know, what's going on here? You know, me and him have talked about it, and you know, he admits he was in the wrong and that he was very lost. And I think that everybody in, you know, a part of their life, certain time in their life, they feel lost. They just don't know who they are, and they don't know what to do. You know, they don't know what's going on. They're so caught up in life, and they just don't really care about what's going on. They're just so confused. And I think that I've been lost at one point in my life, and I feel like once you find yourself, you really realize, you know, what God has done in your life and who He's molded you out to be. After that, as a kid, you know, my mom was always asking my brother and I, you know, "What's your dad doing? Who's he going out with? What did y'all do over there? What did y'all eat? You know, da-da-da-da-da." I always felt drilled, you know, whenever I go back to my mom's, I'm going to have to tell her everything. I remember hating that. I remember just hate going back to my mom's house and being questioned. But there was a certain time where I would go to my dad's house and be questioned. And, you know, it was just like, where's my home? You know, where can I feel safe? And I remember I was involved in church, and I went youth group, and I remember feeling so loved at church. You know, church was my home. Church was the place to be. And, you know, you were just taught all this stuff about this amazing God and how He loves so much and how He loves so many people, everybody, no matter what you do to somebody. He still loves you. I remember being so amazed by that, you know, wow, this God loves me, and I am so loved beyond whatever I can imagine. And so I just remember feeling the safest at church. You know, church was my home. Church was where I was supposed to be at. I was caught all up in this mess, and I remember thinking, I need to protect my brother. You know, what's going on at my dad's house is not right. I need to protect him. So ever since that moment, I've always protected my brother, and I love him so much. So we would go to my dad's house, we would go to my mom's house. At my mom's, I always thought to myself, am I doing the right thing? I remember always getting in trouble as a child, and I always felt like I was, you know, the worst kid ever. I was so wrapped in this, you know, image where I was perfect. You know, my family was perfect. Nothing was wrong. And I would look and see my mom, and she was so strong. You know, she carried herself so well. Even, you know, what's all happening in her life. And I just remember everybody loving my mom and, you know, just praising her for how strong she is. And I just remember, you know, everybody thought my dad was a bad person. He was just overwhelmed and stressed out and confused, whereas my mom kept herself together better. And what people didn't really know is at home with my mom wasn't always the nicest person to me. And I just remember being so young and my mom, you know, just making these faces at me and calling me names and kind of being like this big bully. I remember, you know, going to church, having this face on, like everything's good, everything's perfect, you know, my mom's great, my dad's blah, dad, you know, is not the best person. And I just remember having my whole childhood based on my dad's crap. And nobody ever really asked me, how's your mom and how's life at your mom's house? Because they just had this image of her being so well and so great and held together. And I just remember being so confused, like, I guess that's wrong for my dad to do, but it's right for my mom to do this to me. You know, there's certain things that I can't just say right now, but it was very hard for me. And I remember just being even more confused than I was before. And I just didn't really understand. And I couldn't wrap my mind around the thought that I just don't know really what's right from wrong anymore. I live with someone that is hurting me. And then I go to my dad's house and I see him hurt people. And I just... Now that I'm out of all this, I really understand my childhood a whole lot more. And it's just like, it's like that for y'all, and it's like that for you. Once you get out of a bad situation and you have time to better yourself and get to know yourself, I know that I have, and I know myself kind of better than I ever thought I could. And I'm just like, now that I'm healing, I'm in the process of healing from everything. I'm figuring so much out and so much about my life that I never knew was there because I was so blinded by it. It's just like, I never would have thought that my normal that I was raised on was so wrong. And it took me years, because now that I'm finally out of that, I'm like, I don't understand certain things in life because I was raised that way. I was raised that kind of stuff was normal. I was being told it was wrong at the same time, but it's just a little confusing. But I can't really talk so much about it right now because of certain things that are going on. But I just want you guys to know that I will open up more once I get some things straightened out. And I'll tell y'all a whole lot more. But that was just a little brief discussion about divorce and kind of the things that I've seen growing up and I had to go through as a young child. And I know that there are so many of you out there that have experienced things that you can't quite remember, but yet you can remember happening during your childhood, and you're like shocked by this. You don't really know what to do with it. I know that I did not know what to do with it. All you got to do is just process it and take a deep breath and just realize that now that you know that is wrong, that you're a better person yourself because you realize that is wrong, and you never do that. I hope you never do something like that. I know it's taken me so long to heal, and I'm still healing. And I think in order to heal, you have to take a step back from life, and you have to, you know, I wouldn't really say that I've done this, but I'm so caught up in life. I've had one thing happen to me after another, and that's why it's taken me so long to make my next video. It's been about 2 weeks or longer than that I've posted a video and been able to make one. It's just, my life's hectic just like everybody else's, and once you step back and you have time to breathe, go outside, take a walk, you know, have time to yourself. You have to heal from the inside out. And I think that's crazy because everybody sees the outside, you know, they don't really see the inside. And you have to heal from the inside out. and you're like, well, I'm just going to put a cover on it and act like I'm fine and act like this is who I am. And so the whole world won't see, you know. But it's been like that my whole entire life. That's how I was raised, is to cover it up, you know. Put a band-aid over it. Let's go. Let's hit the road. We got other stuff to do. And it's just like I was raised in so many different settings in life, and I never really knew what the right setting was. And for me, the right setting for me in life is me being by myself and independent, and, you know, not having to worry about other people. And that's hard for me to do because I'm a big worrier, and it's going to take a long time for me to do. But you can do it if I can do it, and we will work on this together. And I hope that you come back and watch my channel. There's going to be a whole lot more stories like this one that I just had said, and it will be super interesting. And right down to the end of my story, we will be getting into some really personal stuff that really hits home. It's going to be crazy, amazing, and wonderful. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. And please follow along for more. It means the world to me. Thanks, guys. Bye.